A 63-year-old man walked into a coffee shop last week, and every woman in that room, I mean every single one, from the 20-something barista to the woman reading her book in the corner, looked up. He wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. He didn't say a single word, but something about his body made it physically impossible not to stare. And here's what's going to bother you. It wasn't what you think. It wasn't his face. It wasn't his clothes. It was five very specific body parts that female psychology is literally hardwired to scan in under 3 seconds. And most men over 60 have absolutely no clue this is happening. Here's a fact that might rearrange everything you thought you knew. A 2021 study published in the journal Evolutionary Behavioral Sciences confirmed that women assess male attractiveness through a rapid unconscious scan that takes less than 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That's faster than you can say, "Good morning." And the kicker? The body parts women zero in on shift dramatically as men age. What works at 25 is not what works at 60. Not even close. So if you're a man over 60, or if you're a woman wondering why certain older men just have it, that effortless magnetism, this is the most important breakdown you'll hear today. Because I'm about to walk you through the exact 5 body parts that trigger an involuntary attraction response in women when they look at men past 60. And number 3 on this list? That one genuinely surprised me when I found the research behind it. Most men completely ignore it. The ones who don't, they become absolutely magnetic. But before we get there, I need you to understand something. This isn't about being conventionally handsome. This isn't about looking younger than you are. This is about biology. This is about what the female brain is scanning for on a primal level. Signals of health, capability, and something I can only describe as quiet dominance. And once you know what those signals are, you can't unsee them. Let's start with the one that catches us first. Number 1. And I say this as a woman who has had this conversation with more female friends than I can count. Hands. A man's hands over 60 are one of the most powerful attraction triggers that exist, and almost nobody talks about it. Here's why. When a man is young, his hands are just hands. They're fine, whatever. But something fascinating happens as men age. Hands start telling a story. The veins become more prominent. The skin tightens around the knuckles. There's a weathered quality that communicates decades of work, experience, and capability. And female psychology reads all of that in a fraction of a second. A study from the University of Liverpool found that women consistently rated men with larger, well-proportioned hands as more attractive. And here's the part that matters. This preference actually increased when women evaluated older men. The researchers believe it's connected to our ancestral wiring. Strong, capable hands signaled a man who could protect, provide, and build. At 60, that signal becomes even louder because the hands carry visible proof of a life fully lived. Now, here's the thing most men miss. It's not just about the shape. It's about grooming. A man over 60 with clean, trimmed nails, moisturized skin, and hands that look cared for, that combination of ruggedness and self-respect is devastatingly attractive. I've literally watched women lose their train of thought mid-conversation because a man gestured with well-kept, strong hands. It sounds ridiculous. It's completely true. And the opposite is just as powerful. Neglected hands, cracked skin, bitten nails, visible grime send an instant signal of someone who has stopped caring. Women register that in a heartbeat. Fair or not, that's how the wiring works. So, gentlemen, your hands are speaking before your mouth ever opens. Make sure they're saying the right thing. Number 2, forearms. And I already know some of you are nodding because you felt this pull and couldn't explain it. There is an actual phenomenon that went viral on social media a few years back called forearm culture. And while the internet treated it like a joke, the science behind it is dead serious. A study from the University of New South Wales found that women's attraction to visible musculature is not about bulk. It's about lean, functional muscle that communicates real-world strength. And in men over 60, the forearm is where this shows up most honestly. Think about it. You can't fake forearms. You can't surgically enhance them. They're the result of decades of use, gripping, lifting, working, living. When a man over 60 rolls up his sleeves and reveals forearms with visible tendons, a natural vascular quality, and that seasoned look of a body that has actually done things, something primal fires in the female brain. I had a friend tell me once, and she said this completely unprompted. I don't know what it is, but when an older man rolls up his sleeves, I forget my own name. She's a 41-year-old attorney, graduated top of her class, and a pair of 60-year-old forearms turned her into a stammering mess. That's not weakness. That's biology doing what biology does. The reason this works so powerfully in older men is contrast. At 60, a man who still has defined forearms is communicating something critical. He hasn't let go. He's still active. He's still vital. In evolutionary terms, that's a survival signal. And the female brain is built to respond to survival signals, the way a compass responds to north. It doesn't ask permission. It just moves. So, for any man over 60 hearing this, your forearms are a billboard. If you've been hiding them under long sleeves year-round, you might be covering up one of your greatest assets. Number 3, and this is the one I promised would surprise you. It's the neck and jaw area. Not just the jawline, the entire region from the base of the ears down to the collarbone. And the research behind why women fixate on this in older men is genuinely fascinating. According to a 2019 paper in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior, the neck region is one of the primary areas women unconsciously assess when evaluating a man's testosterone levels. Higher testosterone correlates with a thicker neck, more defined sternocleidomastoid muscles. Those are the two bands that run from behind the ear to the collarbone, and a stronger jaw. And here's where it gets interesting for men over 60. Testosterone naturally declines with age. So when a man past 60 still carries definition in this area, the female brain interprets it as an exceptionally strong genetic signal. He's aging, but the markers of vitality are still there. That's rare. And rarity triggers attraction. But it goes beyond hormones. A well-defined neck on an older man communicates posture, alertness, and physical engagement with life. A saggy, undefined neck, and I'm not being cruel here, I'm being factual, communicates the opposite. It reads as decline, as withdrawal from physical life. And women sense that distinction instantly, even if they couldn't articulate why. This is why you'll notice that the older men who are considered universally attractive, the ones women openly admire, almost always have a strong neck-to-jaw connection. It frames the face, it projects authority, and combined with gray hair or silver stubble, that combination is practically weaponized attractiveness. The good news? This is one of the most trainable areas of the body at any age. Simple neck exercises, proper posture habits, and staying at a healthy body fat percentage can maintain this area well into your 70s and beyond. Most men don't bother because they don't know women are looking. Now you know. Number 4, shoulders. But not in the way you might expect. I'm not talking about massive bodybuilder shoulders. At 60, that actually works against you in most women's perception. What triggers the attraction response is shoulder-to-waist ratio combined with how those shoulders are carried. In other words, posture. A landmark study from the University of Aberdeen showed that the single most attractive physical trait women identified in men across all age groups was the V-shaped torso, broader shoulders tapering to a narrower waist. But in men over 60, this study found something additional. It wasn't just the shape, it was how the man held himself. Shoulders pulled back, chest slightly open, head level. That upright carriage communicated confidence, health, and social dominance more powerfully than any other single factor. And here's the part that really struck me. The researchers found that a man with an average build but exceptional posture was rated as more attractive than a more muscular man who slouched. Let that land for a second. Your posture is literally more powerful than your muscles. I see this in real life constantly. An older man walks into a room with his shoulders back and his spine straight, and heads turn. It's not conscious. Women aren't thinking, "Oh, what lovely posture." They're feeling something, a sense that this man is present, capable, and comfortable in his own skin. That feeling is irresistible. Conversely, and this is the uncomfortable truth, when a man over 60 starts to round forward, when the shoulders curl inward and the head drops, it sends an immediate signal of defeat, of someone who has given in to age rather than aging with intention. Women read that body language as a warning sign, not cruelty, instinct. The most powerful thing about this entry on the list is that it costs nothing to fix. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need surgery. You need awareness. Stand tall. Pull your shoulders back. Lead with your chest. That simple adjustment can change how every woman in the room perceives you, starting today. Number 5. And I saved this for last because honestly, this is the one that matters most. The eyes. Now, before you roll yours, no pun intended, hear me out, because this goes way beyond eyes are the window to the soul, greeting card territory. There's hard science here that explains why a man's eyes over 60 can become his single most attractive feature. Research published in Psychological Science demonstrated that women evaluate trustworthiness, intelligence, and emotional stability primarily through eye contact and the physical appearance of the eye area. The study found that slight crow's feet, those lines that fan out from the corners, actually increased perceptions of warmth and authenticity. In younger men, those lines don't exist yet, so the eyes lack that depth of character. In older men, those lines are proof of a life spent smiling, squinting into sunlight, and engaging with the world. But here's where it gets truly powerful. A man over 60 who has maintained sharp, clear, focused eyes, not bloodshot, not drooping, not glazed, communicates something that the female brain values above almost everything else at that age: mental sharpness, cognitive vitality. The lights are still on, and someone very capable is home. I've spoken with women ranging from their 30s to their 60s about what specifically attracts them to older men. And the answer that comes up more than any other, more than money, more than status, more than physique, is his eyes. They talk about intensity, about a gaze that holds steady, about the feeling that when he looks at you, he actually sees you, not through you, not past you, into you. That quality is almost impossible to manufacture. It comes from self-awareness, presence, and emotional depth. But the physical component matters too. Hydration, sleep, reducing alcohol, all of these keep the eyes clear and bright. And for what it's worth, a 2020 survey by a major dating platform found that profile photos where a man's eyes were clearly visible and well lit received 47% more engagement than photos with sunglasses or poor lighting. Nearly half. Your eyes aren't just an attraction tool. They're the attraction tool. So there you have it. 5 body parts that women are unconsciously scanning every single time they see a man over 60. Hands that tell a story, forearms that prove vitality, a neck and jaw that signal strength, shoulders that project confidence, and eyes that communicate presence and depth. None of these require wealth. None of them require surgery or youth or genetic perfection. Every single one of them can be maintained, improved, or highlighted with nothing more than awareness and intention. And that's the part that should genuinely excite you, because this means the game isn't over at 60. For a lot of men, it's actually just becoming interesting. But here's what I want to leave you with. And this is important. Everything I just broke down, the hands, the forearms, the posture, the eyes, those are the signals. They're the packaging. But there's something underneath all of it that women actually want from a man. Something so fundamental that without it, none of these physical traits matter at all. And with it, even an average-looking man becomes the most compelling person in any room. I broke that down completely in another video that I think you absolutely need to watch next. It's called The Only Thing Women Want: Truth About Female Nature. And honestly, it's the missing piece to everything we just talked about today. If this video gave you the map, that one gives you the key. It's playing on your screen right now. Go watch it. You'll thank yourself.